work is well underway as Caribbean Cement Company moves into a massive expansion, modernization, and coal conversion project which will double the capacity of the Rockford plant and increase its efficiency by the end of 1987. Haddad Engineering and Consulting Company of Japan are the consulting engineers. We visited the project office of the cement company from where the expansion project is being coordinated. We spoke with the project director, Mr. Geoffrey Haddad.
Sure. If that's the case, then I would suggest you proceed in that manner. Okay. Thanks for calling. The Caribbean Cement Company's expansion project, which originally began in 1973 and came to an abrupt end shortly after construction began in 73. The new expansion project, which commenced about a year ago, is an upgraded version of the 73 plans. It incorporates, among other things, a coal conversion project where we're switching fuel from oil to coal. The expansion project is scheduled to cost in the region of $90 million US and is jointly being financed by the government of Jamaica and the Inter-American Development Bank. The project is subdivided into 4 main contracts, the first of which is a silo construction works over here on the right-hand side of the main road leading to the roundabout at Harbour View. It's in green. It's a reconstruction of the silos which collapsed back in 1973 and which were demolished in 1975. The capacity of the new silos will be exactly the same as the ones that were built in 68 and were demolished in 75. And work is currently underway, and I would say we're about 45 to 50% complete on that project. The contractors there are Kajima Corporation, who are a multi-billion-dollar asset corporation out of Tokyo, Japan. They've been on site since June 16, 1984, and they're scheduled to complete the works in August of this year. The second phase of the expansion project is the expansion of the power station, which will include the building and erection of 3 5-megawatt diesel alternators to basically double the capacity of the existing power station. The third contract, which is not shown on this drawing here because it's really a supply contract, and it's the supply of the coal equipment which will be used to pulverize the coal, which is going to be stored on the seaside here. Consists of the 4 big hoppers on the wharf here, the conveyor system which will transport the coal to the storage area, and another conveying system which will transport it to the coal pulverizing and burning zones. In this building here in yellow is the coal pulverizing facility, which will consist of 2 coal mills, which is really the heart of the coal operation, to pulverize coarse ore into a finely ground powder, which will be used as fuel for the number 4 kiln, which will be installed here. Now everything else that is shaded in yellow, what we call contract C4, it's a major construction project for the expansion. It consists of a new deep water pier, which is south of the area currently being filled across the road from the cement company. In addition to the jetty, we'll be building a coal storage facility to store the coal. Coal will be transported by conveyor across into the coal pulverizing building, as I mentioned before. In addition to the coal facility, we'll be installing a new line, number 4 kiln. The cement company, as you know, consists of has 3 major kilns in operation at the moment, and consequently 3 chimneys. This new kiln in number 4 will be operating on a totally new process. It's a dry process as compared to the more energy consuming wet process, which is the process on which the 3 existing kilns operate. In addition to the number 4 kiln, we'll be installing a preheat tower to recoup the heat which is normally lost. This suspension preheat tower is going to be about 25 to 30 stories high. In addition to that, we'll be erecting various storage silos, clinker silos, and other conveying systems to transport the raw material into the storage facilities.
Mr. Haddad, why coal at this point in Jamaica's progress?
Yes, coal, 2 devices or systems by which we're going to save money here in this expansion project is by going to coal from heavy oil, because the cost of oil has now escalated to an extent which our calculations show when you switch to coal we'll be saving somewhere in the order of 53% in the fuel costs. As you know, the cement process is very highly fuel dependent. The cost of cement in Jamaica presently, the production cost, about 60% of it is for fuel. Now what we're saying is we'll be able to cut that fuel bill in half by going to coal. The other major energy saving device is by going to the dry process as opposed to the currently used wet process.
When exactly will this project be live, online?
As I mentioned before, the silos should be functioning by the end of August. Now this is something that we have needed for the last 10 years. In the event that we have a slowdown, there is no storage facilities at the cement company to store cement, and we had to import. This will give us not only a facility for storing cement for the local market, but we'll be able to export cement from August 1985. And the major expansion project will be completed by around the end of 1987. We'll be looking at an export potential there of about 150,000 tons of cement, and the other 450,000 tons per year would be for the local demand. Maybe what we could do is take a journey out on the site there and sort of have a bird's eye view of the overall site, and then we could probably go over to the area where the construction is currently taking place for these silos. See, what you're looking at in front there is the number 3 kiln, which is the backbone of the current cement plant. It's capable of producing about 200,000 tons of cement per year. This is our old gypsum crane, picks up the gypsum over here on your right, and also the clinker crane, which will be demolished. South of the current landfill area, which you're currently looking at, will be the site of the new deepwater pier, which will be designed to handle coal vessels of capacity in the range of 25,000 tons deadweight. The hinterland will be used for storing the coal, and all of this will be located on the southern side of the road leading to the international airport. Up here towards the base of the Warwick Hill Mountains will be built a new storage silos for clinker. Now, at the moment, clinker is being stored outdoors, which is a very bad procedure. Nowhere else in the world that I've been to have I seen clinker stored outdoors.
Is that this mass of rubble that we're looking at here now?
It's this mass of, it's the stage of cement just before it becomes cement. It's called clinker. It comes out of the kiln and it's still in a fairly coarse aggregate form. It is then mixed with about 5% gypsum by weight and finally crushed in the finishing mill to form cement. If you pan over here to the clinker crane, which is currently picking up a load of clinker and depositing it into the finish mill for the existing number 2 line, I believe, you will see another stockpile of clinker, which is at the base of the crane, also completely open to the elements. So the silos which we'll be building here at the base of the Warwick Hills will be capable of handling or storing clinker in the amount of 24,000 tons, which is basically 1 month's supply of cement for the expansion project. So you could have a slowdown in the operations, a maintenance program, a strike which could last as much as 1 month and would not affect the local demand or supply of cement.
I see. Where you say it will be built right where the clinker is now being stored, or?
Yes, it will be, the clinker will be moved from here and the foundations for the 2 silos will be in that exact location. Just to the south of that then, before you come to the number 3 kiln, which is some 400 feet in length and really the backbone of the operations of the cement company since 1980, it's been providing about 80% of all the cement we've been getting in Jamaica, will be located the number 4 kiln. The number 4 kiln will be much shorter. It will be about 14 feet in diameter, but only about 200 feet in length, as opposed to the 400-foot number 3 kiln. As you can see in the background there, the corresponding 3 chimneys corresponding to the 3 kilns which are currently situated here at the cement plant. I don't know if it will be visible on your screen, but you can see across the road there's a stockpile of equipment. That is really the heart of the number 4 kiln. And just going east of that, you can see the ball mill or the finish mill for the number 4 production line, which will also be installed under this expansion project. If we pan around a little bit more to the east, we can see here in the foreground, or about mid depth of your picture, we can see the existing power station with 3 of the exhaust ducts, exhaust stacks. As I mentioned, part of the expansion program requires the extension of this power station, which is outside of the range of our camera here, and it will be constructed to the east of the existing power station. What I would suggest we do now is to probably take a drive over to the silo construction site, where we could see the construction of the silos.
Fine, let's do that. Will the silos be used to store?
The silos will be used to store the finished product, that is Portland cement.
And what are the raw materials which go into the making of cement?
Components of cement are 3 in number, the first of which is limestone. Limestone is mined in a quarry on the hill, the Warwick Hill, just behind us, and is brought down to the site after it is crushed, down to the storage building after it is crushed in this giant crusher, which is also located at the quarry, and it is brought down by a conveying system some 1/2 mile in length. As you can see, the crusher can handle boulders up to a size of about 18 inches. The larger boulders have got to be taken off of the grizzly and broken before they are again placed through the crushing system. Once the limestone has left the primary crusher, which is located in the quarry, it is transported, as I mentioned before, by the conveyor system and is stockpiled until it is required for usage in this giant raw material storage building. Limestone comprises of between 80 and 85% of the cement mix. The second component, which comprises of between 12 and 15% of the mix, is shale. This is brought in by trucks from the quarry out in the Cambridge Hill area, about 11 miles away, and stockpiled here again at the base of the Warwick Hill, very close to where the clinker silos will be constructed. The shale consists of mostly iron and provides all the silicate materials for the concrete mix. Gypsum, which is a very pinkish type material, basically calcium sulfate, and is the catalyst in the chemical reaction to form the cement paste. This first contract is being done also by a Japanese firm, Kojima Corporation, a multi-billion-dollar asset corporation from Tokyo, Japan, actually the largest civil engineering contractors in Japan. They're constructing the 2 silos here, which will have a total capacity for storing finished cement product of 13,000 metric tons. The first silo, which is the one in the center here, is now at the stage where they're putting together the slip forming equipment, which will see the silos rise at the rate of about 20 feet per day to a grand total height of over 120 feet. The silo to the right, silo number 2, is at about the 25% completion level. As soon as the silo number 1 has been completed, the slip forming equipment will be transferred over to silo number 2. The structural steel you see in the background laying down there, which is painted orange in color, is being erected over here to the western side of the silos, which is the site of the new shipping building. The cement from the silos will be transported to the shipping building. And
Is that the building in the background?
that is a building in the foreground which is under erection, the building with the orange painted steel. And that building will house a distribution bin from which cement will be distributed to the sea, to the bulk loading vessels, or to trucks for bulk loading, or to the packing plant which is in the background. Bagging plant, which is currently being supplied by some very small silos over on the existing plant. This project is currently on schedule and is to be completed by August 6, 1984. The total cost of the cement company is in the range of $4.3 million US, which is identical to the sum for which the contract was signed. There was no variations and no escalation clauses to increase the cost of this particular project.
I think when you said 84, you meant 85.
That's correct. I'm sorry.
the background is the project office, which eventually will become the sales office for the Caribbean Cement Company at the end of the project. What's happening now, Jeff?
Here you see one of the 3 cranes which Kojima have on site, moving a piece of the structural steel for the shipping building. It's actually a column taking it across to another storage area. In the background, Rob, you can see the belt conveyor, which conveys the limestone raw material from the top of the hillside there to the quarry, by the quarry, and the primary crusher mounted on the side of the hill there, which brings the limestone down to the huge storage building which is seen at the bottom of the hill. I would say today is abnormal activity for a Sunday. They seem to be very overly enthusiastic and working towards their project deadline of August the 6th, 1985.